So here's our white sapote tree. It was making very small white sapote, and I grafted 2 varieties onto this tree months ago, and they're doing well. Just yesterday, Bob from California sent us his variety of white sapote. It is North Park, and it's looking really good. These scions are very healthy. He's cut them so that the last bud is on this longer side of the scion. This is the bottom. But this scion is a lot bigger than what I graft with my little razor blade. So Har is here with his professional grafting equipment. He's sharpening his blade, his grafting knife right now, and he is going to graft some white sapote onto this tree. So here's our white sapote tree. I'm stepping over the latest branch that we cut off. All these pieces here are waiting for a woodworker to pick them up. Came right off of this area. And so about a week ago, Har put on some large diameter scions, a special gift from Bob in California, and you know, he had grafting knives. I just used this little wimpy razor blade. So he got those big scions on. 3 days later, I got the smaller diameter scions on. And I was actually able to use a razor blade on them. Even though they looked like they were pretty woody, they were soft woody. So I looked for an area that would be a good one to graft onto. And fortunately, this area had some pretty good sprouts coming out of it. So I put one scion on here and one here, both top cleft grafts, and you know, it looked like at first that these were going to be too skinny, but it seemed to work out. So if this one happens to not work out, I can always graft in the future onto that one. But then I had 2 more scions to graft, and it seemed like the best place to graft would be close to where Har was. The big branch that's going up in the tree is eventually going to be cut back. You know, it's nice to have the shade and the look of that, but I would like to have, you know, all working varieties on this tree, and that one is just a very small fruit and not that productive. So the goal is to make this tree like a host for a lot of really nice white sapote varieties. So anyway, let me show you the last 2. I'm just going to grab the camera so you can get a bird's eye view of this. Okay, so let's take a look at these grafts. So here are Har's 3 grafts, and as you can see, it has the paper towel around them, and it's hard to tell how they're doing. I don't see any evidence of sunburn, but it's very young still. Then these are the areas that I put my scions on. This branch here was actually longer and drooping down, so I cut back the extra part over here because I want the energy to be going to this particular scion. That looks like it's going to as a sprout out from this original stem, not the scion. And then over here I put this other scion, another top cleft graft. So those are usually the fastest to take, and I'm assuming this will work out. I'm hoping it will. And once this sprouts out, I'm just going to cut back this larger branch to right above where this branch is coming out, and so that almost all the energy can go to this scion. So, and there's the nice big old branch that eventually is going to come off and make room for lots more white sapote grafts. We'll check back on these frequently, because not only do I want to see which ones have taken, which I'm hoping 100% have taken, but I also want to see which ones sprout out first. Hart got a 3-day head start, but he was using bigger diameter scions. And of course his were 3 days fresher than mine. And then I had the smaller diameter ones, and possibly I got some better positions on the tree. So we'll just have to see how it works out. So here we are back at the white sapote, and there's a lot of good news. Hart grafted some, large pieces of graft wood, 3 of them, and they are right up here on this branch. This is my pointer tool at the moment. Right there, and back here. And so all of them are sort of easy to see because they have that paper towel sunscreen on them, a little sun protection from the heat. And all are doing great. There's a lot of new growth there. Now, I grafted smaller scions a few days later, so he did have a little bit of a head start. And there's good news in that department too. Well, this one hasn't sprouted out yet. It seems to be still good. Here we have nice little new growth on that particular scion, and then there were 2 more. So I think that I'll use my step stool here. So right here is one, and that has a nice new growth on it. And let's see where that is. Oh, here we go. This is the other one right here. And I didn't use any, protection from the sun. So these grafts down here in the lower part got a little bit of protection from the leaves over here. These are in straight, direct sunlight, and they seem to be doing very well. I didn't see any evidence that that they got sunburned at all. It's sort of unusual that, at least because I have no experience with it, but it's not what I expected, that Har's grafts would be doing so much better than mine. It's not a competition, but I'm guessing because they were so much larger, there was more food stored in those scions, and they really took off. I have this one here that has got significant growth, and then the one down here, one of the 2 down there is just a slow poke. But right now it's a great time to trim back the growth that is not North Park. So I have the tools here and the ladder, and I'm going to go up and cut whatever is not North Park. So there's no need for the sun protection, but that sort of completes this particular activity here. We had those scions come in from California and tried 2 different ways of grafting, basically Har's way, which included the sun protection with paper towels, and then I just did a simple straightforward cleft grafts on all of them, and everyone took, except for we're still waiting on one of the scions on behind the ladder. But basically, it's been a learning experience. I've never grafted those larger woody scions, just did the small scions with white sapote, and I was always successful with the small scions, but it turns out those woody ones worked great, and I'm guessing they last a lot longer off the tree also. So anyway, thanks very much, Bob, for those North Park scions. We now have 3 varieties on this tree, and the original variety, which I think is just a seedling.